Hello friends, I am HET Shah and I got All India Rank 1 in NEET 2016 and it's just an exciting feeling which I am feeling right now, so it just cannot be described by words. So after 2 years of hard work, it was a great achievement for me, and this result I didn't expect to get All India Rank 1 in NEET, but owing to my hard work and to my dedication in my 2 years and also to my parents' support, I expected it to get a good rank and get admission in a good college. So, depending upon, I would like to share my journey with you about what were my path which I took during my 2 years. So, first of all, I would like to tell that I was at Allen Kota for 2 years for coaching of pre-medical, and I used to go to the classes in the evening slot. I used to study at Allen, and Allen provided me such a great guidance about all the things that I was going to face in my exams. So it was a really helpful thing. And of course, the environment at Kota was conducive for encouraging my rank also. I mean, there are a lot of studying people around me, there are a lot of toppers around me, that I always get the feeling that I should study more. So that is the great thing about Kota that you will really appreciate. And of course, at Allen, when I was at Allen, my faculty, my teachers always used to inform me about the new changes in the exam patterns which are coming. So I always used to prepare myself for the new changes in the exam. So that is a great advantage of being at an institute which has 28 years of experience and experience of such a great mentors. So that's a great thing that you have at every has an advantage at Allen. So of course, I studied during the morning hours, and on a daily basis, I used to put 5 to 6 hours of studies, of self studies at home, and I used to make a note of all the topics which were to be covered daily, and I also used to make a task manager, and used to note that whether these tasks are getting fulfilled or not. So, like on a daily basis, I would like to make the topics which are to be covered and then try to complete them within that 5 to 6 hours. So I used to give an weightage to those topics which were my weak topics. Like for example, some topics in physics which I didn't solve questions too well. So I used to focus more on them. And how to find your weak topics? It was through the test. So through the minor and major test, you can easily find out your weak topics, the topics in which you are committing mistakes more and more frequently. So those are your weak topics. So another thing which I used to follow is that I always used to make a note of all the mistakes which I had done in my test. So whether they were silly mistakes or they were conceptual mistakes or any other concept which is a good concept and a tricky question, I used to make them all in one note, and so I used to revise that notes before any exams or any other test. So it used to help me a lot. And apart from them, some of the basic books which I used to refer were the only essential requirement for cracking this NEET and AIMS. So of course, the biology, I recommend the NCERT is the only book to be followed, because this year's AIMS question paper was entirely from NCERT, and so the NCERT book should be read out and should be memorized actually from cover to cover. Every diagram, every labeling, every other line in the NCERT should be done properly, and it should be in your minds. Apart from that, for organic chemistry, the reactions, the named reactions are very important. So that requires some part of memorization. So I would like that you should do repeated revisions of that by writing or by understanding the mechanisms. So that is the only thing why you can remember organic chemistry. Inorganic chemistry seems to be a bit tough to students because it is a bit of more informative, and it requires a bit of rote learning. So for that I used to maintain a separate notebook for inorganic chemistry, in which I used to write all the reactions and all the tricky points, and I used to make mnemonics on the memory tricks so that I could remember the inorganic concepts easily. And apart from that, in chemistry, the most important part is practicing more and more questions. So if you can practice more and more questions in different papers and different major tests and minor test papers from different phases, so it would be a good thing to do. And as far as chemistry or organic chemistry is concerned, then the NCERT of class 12th holds very much importance in AIMS and also in AIPMT. So the organic chemistry part should be done thoroughly from the NCERT. And for physics, most of the students find physics a bit difficult because physics seems to be mathematical, conceptual, and also a bit tricky subject. So, but the most important thing to know in physics is that it is the easiest subject in which you can score marks. So the tricks which I would recommend for physics is that always try to solve more and more numericals. The more numericals you solve in physics, the more easier it gets for you. So I would suggest that you try maximum numericals from as many sources as possible, and always try to solve your doubts and concepts. Even if you're having a single doubt, then you should immediately go and consult with either your friends or your teachers. So it would be a great help to you. And to talk about my journey for the 2 years, of course there are so many tests at Allen that there are more than 100 tests in the 2 years. So there will be ups and downs in the rankings at the test. So how to cope up with that ups and downs, the fluctuating ranks in that? So for that, I would like to tell you one simple strategy that see, no one can top throughout all this test. It is a very difficult task to do. So you will get some point of the time that you are getting a low rank or below expected marks. So at that time, you have to encourage yourself that not to get depressed and not to lose your focus. So if you can do that, then it will be a very great help. And always try to bounce back in the next test. So prepare hard, work harder for the next test, and then you will achieve wonders. And of course, the most important part in the exams, actually at the real exam time, is the time management part during the exams. So during the exams, you need to know which subjects and which topics you need to allot how much time according to the difficulty level. So for that, it's a good thing that you get one general overview of the paper. So once you get the paper, then you should try briefing through those pages and finding out what are the questions, and just for 5 to 10 minutes. So it will help you to get a good idea from where to start. So during this test at Allen, you need to find out a strong part. I mean, if you are comfortable with biology, then start with biology first. So it seems easy. Do physics at the last. It can be different for different people. So try out and make out the strategy which will help in the last time of the final exam. So that is one thing. And the other thing is that during these 2 years, the most important thing which many students face is how to overcome these distractions around us. So the thing which is most important is that there are a lot of distractions around us, which means there are movies, there is the social media, there is Facebook, there is WhatsApp. So to avoid all this, we need to have self-confidence and also self-control. So if you are having a good self-control, and if you know that what your goal is, what your focus is, then I don't think that this distraction will ever cause any discomfort or any stoppage to your dreams. So that should be kept in mind, that there are a lot of distractions around us, but always try to avoid them, because these 2 years are of utmost importance to you and also a career. And during these 2 years, always try to maintain a contact with your parents. Talk to them every day for 5 to 10 minutes, because talking with parents help us to relieve a lot. So that is a good thing to do. And of course, the one thing, no one can study for more than 1 hour at a stretch. So of course, you need some hobbies also. And my hobbies were, I used to read novels, I used to listen to music, and I also used to sleep in my spare time. That was the best hobby that I had. So of course, there is a different hobbies, and hobbies should be maintained, because they help a lot in energizing yourself and studying more better the next time. So always maintain a limit of what you do in your hobbies, because it's not that if that's a hobby, then you will do for 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours. You should know your limits about what to do. So that is the best thing. And of course, the last thing that I would like to say and to recommend to all the aspirants of these exams is that always try and always make your goal before your 2 years. Always decide what you have got to do, knowing your abilities, knowing your resources, and knowing your support. You should decide a goal much earlier. So once you have decided a goal, you have something that you can work on. So once you have a goal, you can make a path out of it, and then once you walk on your path, then you are definitely going to achieve that goal. So that is the only thing that should be kept in mind. And avoid distractions, focus, and also study hard, but never lose the interest in life. Means there is life to live, so you should not be only studying 24 hours a day, marathon hours a day. So that should not be the case. Study equally, enjoy also, and of course you should never get bored if you are really interested in the studies. So have interest in your topics, and remain determined to get to your goal, and that's the only thing which will easily help you to achieve your goal. Thank you.